Mics are hot.
All right, good evening, everyone. I would like to call the regular meeting of the Milton Equestrian Committee for Wednesday, April the 17th, 2024 to order. The time is now 6:32 p.m. As I call roll this evening, please confirm your attendance. Nan Buckner.
Here.
Teresa Jarmus is not here. Mac Plummer.
Here.
Shanna Regan-Quidley.
Here.
Tony Rich is here. Carson Seville is not here. Julie Shannon is not here. For the record, we have a quorum.
And Teresa is here.
Hey, Dr. Jarmus just showed up, so we really have a quorum. So, would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hi, Teresa. Okay.
Perfect. I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Said that about every day for my whole life through 12 years of school, and now sometimes I go, oh yeah.
I know, sometimes
Yeah.
I forget,
Sure, I remember
which
that.
line's first?
Our next item on the agenda is approval of our meeting agenda. If we have no amendments to the agenda for this evening, which I don't think we do, could I get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Plummer, second by Ms. Regan-Quidley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Next is the approval of our past meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to see the minutes from last month's meeting? There's a copy at your,
My apologies, I didn't send it earlier. I was at Alpharetta High School doing a career fair the majority of the day.
No worries.
My bad.
if everybody's had a chance to review those, could I please get a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes from the March meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the March minutes.
Great, and a second?
I'll second them.
All right, I've got a first from Ms. Buckner, second from Dr. Jarmus. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. Emily, do we have any general public comment?
We do not have any general public comment, but we do have a public comment on agenda item 6B.
All right. Well, I'll make the statement about public comment, and then we'll move on to the next item. General public comment is a time for citizens to share information with the Milton Equestrian Committee and provide input and opinions on any matter that is not scheduled on tonight's agenda. Each citizen who chooses to participate in public comment must complete a comment card and submit it to the city liaison prior to the agenda item being called. You'll have 5 minutes for remarks. The city encourages you to review the agenda, and if you wish to speak, bring your comment card to Emily now, which I've already done that. Next, we will move on to our subcommittee reports. First is equestrian facilities. Matt, I'll turn it over to you.
No real update. I mean, it's still the 20th that we're doing it.
Yep,
This Saturday?
this Saturday, right?
Saturday, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
I do have from some city side updates for
Okay.
the Birmingham Park cleanup day.
Great.
I don't want to interject. All right.
All right, take your time.
All right. All right. So I spoke with Jen, our outdoor rec supervisor. This is a reminder that this is part of our Earth Week that we have running. But she has some specific projects that we have on the city side, and then we'll kind of turn it over to you guys and let you guys run with it. So if you'll see that top red box that says need to be closed, that little chunk of the trail we need to close down. It's really bogged down, I think, between kind of horses walking on it and the rain that we've had. It's a mess. So however we can close that little gap that's right there.
Is that a low area?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we can either do logs, if we have rope that we can rope it off, however y'all can best close it up, we will leave that to you.
Will you have hard copies of this for us?
Yeah, it's just.
I can just email this to you guys if that
Yeah.
helps.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'll email that to you. Unfortunately, you can still access the trail from that green. You can access it to the right side of the box as well. Then if you'll go to the red box at the very bottom, there's a post that Jen needs put back in. She said that she has, let's see. It has a post that needs to be concreted to the ground. She has the auger that she can provide. There is also, she gave me.
What are those X's with the circles?
So on the yellow trail, the one that's kind of smack dab in the middle, not the one that's by the sign.
Right.
There is a tree that is down on the trail. This might be the one that you guys found. Is it? Was the
Oh,
one?
was that the one we got the email about the other day?
Maybe. I remember there was a text thread that we had.
Yep. I
Oh,
remember
from
that.
me
The
with the
email
barbed
was-
wire?
I thought that
The
was
email was
barbed wire,
buried
yeah.
barbed wire.
I
Not
remember
that
something
one.
about a tree.
There is a tree down on the yellow
And
trail.
we think it's a big enough tree for us all.
Yes.
Okay.
So that just needs to be trunked up and removed. Part of the blue trail. And that is it. The other one that's down by the sign, you can ignore. But I think those are the areas that we have, from the city side.
Can you remind us again of the hours of the event?
8:30 to, nope, 8 to 11:30.
8 to 11:30.
And she just Jen wants to get kind of an idea of who's bringing equipment and what equipment is going to be brought. I think Carson requested that she bring a backpack sprayer.
He's got a backpack sprayer.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
he said he was going to bring, actually,
Okay.
I think he's actually got his ATV sprayer, but I've got a backpack sprayer.
And I can bring my Can-Am also if we need one to
Yeah.
move logs and,
I think that's a great idea. It
Okay.
just makes it so
Awesome.
easy to get around.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I traded text with Julie when I was on the way over here and I said, hey, do you have any updates for the cleanup day? She goes, Max got the ball, turn it over to him. I said, oh, perfect.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't make it this year and I had planned on, doing the gator, bringing my gator to do that and I cannot make it. My husband's out of town and
No worries.
I gotta.
I think we'll have plenty of coverage. Can I get a heads up from you guys? Like, are you guys coming? You're out? Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll be there. Are you coming?
I'll
You're working? You're coming?
I'll be there. Yeah.
All right, Carson's gonna be there. Did anybody know if Julie's coming? I haven't heard.
I would think she
feel like
she
she
had a
would.
big horse show this past weekend, so I'm
Okay.
fairly certain she's
All right,
clear
so we'll have
this
3 or
weekend.
4 folks out there.
Tony, Carson, Julie, who else? Me.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. So, and do we have any ideas if there are any like scout troops or any groups, high school groups, any of that kind of young service league
It's
stuff?
all on their calendar. Cambridge Cats, NCL, and YMSL. It's all on their sign up calendar. I think the last time I checked with NCL, they didn't have any signups for that yet. It's for the end of the year, so most of them have
Okay.
fulfilled their volunteer requirement. But it's on their radar. It's on our general volunteer radar, but we don't have a full sign up list. Emily Groff might have one because she has a full sign up list for Earth Week. So
And who will be there? Are you gonna be there?
I will not, but Jen Young will be there.
And she'll have like waivers and all that stuff?
She'll have waiver. She's going to bring a big case of water.
See the one that came up with this?
Yes.
Does she have a list, like a pretty clear list of what she wants accomplished?
What I just told you was what she wants accomplished, and I
Okay.
can send that to you guys. Other than that, I think she was kind of looking to you guys for your,
Well,
expertise in
know,
that.
when you get there,
We've
like,
done this so many
you'll-
times.
You'll
I
go
can-
down a
we can
trail
sync
and
up
you'll be
on
like, oh, that's the mounted person can't get through there. We got to get the,
Yeah.
Correct.
lopper and.
Have you and Julie had a chance to talk much about it?
No, and that's what, I didn't know Carson wasn't going to be here until today.
Okay.
Cause that's what I told him. I said, I still feel like I'm not really plugged in.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll feel that way for a bit.
And that's what he said. And
Why
I was
don't,
like, oh.
well, whenever, today's Tuesday, between now and before Friday, let's
Yeah.
sync up. Maybe we can spend 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And talk about kind of slicing and dicing the groups and where to send them and all that stuff.
Okay.
I think it's key that, 3 or 4 people have saws and all that kind of stuff. So as long as we've got you, me, and Carson that have chainsaws, somebody always shows up with loppers and all that kind of stuff.
Pole saws if you got them.
Pole saws, yep, I got a pole saw. So I mean, as long as we got equipment, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So it won't be, and we'll give a little safety briefing and all that stuff at the very beginning. And
Yeah, and it could all change too, because there could be a wicked storm tonight and, then
Right.
you'll see your priorities when you get there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll invite the council, and usually the mayor shows up and
Mhm.
all that. So it'll be good.
City manager even came.
Yeah, last year?
Who did?
Um,
Rockoff?
Good.
That's right.
As of right now, there's showers on Friday morning
Perfect.
with thunderstorms in the afternoon, and then it should clear up Saturday morning.
Okay.
Well, I hope we don't have to rain date it again.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
not.
we're running out of rain dates.
Yeah.
If not, just
It's gonna
show
be
up
all
at
overgrown.
park on your own at some point.
Well, that's what I was actually thinking is,
Yeah.
I could go out there, somebody, me and Carson, whoever,
Yep.
and get at least these couple of things done, even if it does rain on Saturday.
The key is, if we can, like, if Jen's out there early, if we've got a key to open up the gate for the main trail,
Mhm.
just so we can get through the gate with our ATVs and stuff and actually cover territory and stuff,
Yeah.
then we should be fine. So, okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. All right. Well, if there's nothing else on facilities, then let's move to PR and marketing and community relations. And I'll turn it over to Nan and Teresa.
Wow, what can I say?
High five, everybody.
High five to everybody. My golly. Meet the Neighbors was just amazing in every way. Everybody worked so hard. Everybody worked hard to make this event with over 600, maybe 800 people. I wish we had a clicker, that we could have
That's amazing.
counted. But it was larger than last year. We had 48 vendors, which was at least 10 more than we had last year.
Great.
We did have a couple no-shows, but they didn't seem to be missed too much. We were able to still keep people really busy. The foot jumps were amazing. There wasn't a time I looked over there that there wasn't people playing on the foot jumps.
Agreed.
So that was really exciting. I got great feedback from a lot of people, and people were coming up to me saying, how can I be a vendor for next year? So,
Cool. Let's
we
look into
were
that.
handing out all these cards and,
Yeah.
so I can't think of anything negative at all that happened. I don't know if you guys got any negative feedback. I think the worst thing that happened was when I loaded up, the giant horse, I got mud on my truck. Wow. If that's the worst thing that could have happened,
Nothing worse than a clean truck.
I know. But, who wants a clean truck?
No,
But-
parking was good, everything was smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids had fun, like all the kids were having fun. Nice.
Mhm.
The tic-tac-toe boards were a great idea. The cornhole stuff. I'm still floating on a cloud about how great it was.
I have a few things that I personally would like to improve because you know me, I will always come at things from it can be better perspective. One thing that we're going to look into that I'm going to look into as we move into budget season, and this is again, if it's feasible, to hire a parking company to specifically work parking at the event. I think that our staff can be better utilized in a different way than parking. So I would love to look into what that costs. I also want to kind of reevaluate the music situation. I love having a DJ, love having a microphone. But it could be the avenue for, I don't know, live musician, for guitarist. I don't know. I feel like there was,
We can get the crowd involved.
right. I kind of feel like there's something more that we could do music wise.
Oh, get out there and do the
Kind of get a
Cupid
little,
shuffle.
a bit more lively. Yeah.
Mhm.
So just a few small things. I think other than that, I think it was great. I think a lot of the things that we had wanted to fix from last year's event, we did. So I think it was a win.
I agree. And I'll just, start with Emily. I think, you worked hard on this and it was obvious and you kept us organized. And we couldn't have even thought about pulling this thing off without you keeping us squared away. So thank you for that. Teresa, your whole family was out there. Thank you for that. Tom was out there early and he was, we were building tents and all that kind of stuff. So
Oh,
thank
you
you for
guys
that.
you're the
It
muscle,
was
you're the
great.
brawn.
Nan, I sent a note out about you the other day, but we couldn't have done this event
Oh,
without
thank you.
your vision. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Shannon
thank you.
was out there early, chugged it the whole time. So
She's there
thanks
the
for that.
whole time. She's out there setting up the tent. We're putting up the
Yeah.
banner. We're, rolling the plastic horse
It was
around.
fun.
My golly.
And
It was fun.
it was great, and I thought that the fire department's positioning was better this
Yeah, I
year.
did too.
Mhm.
The T layer was right in the middle of everything. I thought that was very well placed. Whereas last year, it was kind of on its own. So a lot of people didn't even see it. Thought that was great. The fire corps was cooking hamburgers. So that was really good. The magician was interesting, but, I didn't, I didn't really interact much with the magician, but it was okay.
That was my idea, so if it didn't work out, you can blame me. But I did have some fun video parts with him.
He got
where-
out of the car and I'm like, who's that guy?
I did have, I don't know if you guys saw the Facebook post that I made where I did 2-minute videos because, you can't put them on Facebook if it's a whole big video. So I went around the whole thing and welcomed everybody and introduced everybody. And when I got to the magician, he told me he was going to make a pony disappear. And it was just really clever the way he said it. He goes, yeah, I'm going to make a pony disappear. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to get that on video. And he goes, yeah, I think it'll fit in my van. So I thought that was kind of cute. And he did some tricks at our booth
He did.
towards the end
Yeah,
that
he
were
did.
that were very, very clever. So, when he pulled up, he was, a little crotchety because he is handicapped, so he wasn't fond of walking a lot. But he circled around and it was great. It was great. So, I don't know. That was my idea. So.
Hey, I think it was a very good idea. I think that was the right idea. I will say my last comment, and I'd love to, get everybody else's thoughts on it. I think having live animals there was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Jake the donkey.
I mean, that was,
Oh, the
He's
little
amazing.
sheep.
The pony rides were huge.
the pony
I mean,
rides
Yeah,
were
that was
huge.
perfect.
I'm glad that we got all that logistically worked out because I know that sometimes those kind of things, when the city gets involved and the lawyers and all the people are worried about people getting stepped on and all that kind of stuff, there's always a real issue there. So I'm just glad we were able to get that approved because
very fortunate that it was able to go through Barefoot Ranch.
Yeah.
They were
Well, I
great.
mean, that's what kids want. I mean, they come meet the neighbors. They don't want to,
Right.
some of the stuff the kids don't care about. They want to see horses
Yeah.
and sheep and
Mhm.
Yeah.
whatever. So I think that was really, really good. So
It was good.
anything else?
Mm-mm.
Shannon, you're quiet. Good?
I'm good. I'm great.
Well, everybody really went above and beyond. So thank y'all so much.
You're very
For
welcome.
doing
It
what
was
you did on
fun.
that.
Can't wait to do it again.
Just to get it on the record, planning for next year. We will have to wait to pick a date. So looking at the calendar, Easter is on April 20th for 2025, which means that we have to plan our egg hunt around where Easter is. So if we were to do it on April 12th, that's the last weekend of spring break for Fulton County. We try to not do any events on either end of that spring break because no one will come. The following weekend is an Easter weekend, which means our egg hunt might be that weekend. So this event potentially might be the last weekend of April instead of the second-ish weekend of April.
I think that's a better date because there were some conflicts with Georgia Hunter Jumper Association couldn't come because the person who's their social or their community relations person was at a horse show. There were some people that I had wanted to come that were at dog shows in Perry. So there's some other conflicts with other dates. And then there was that dressage show at Wills Park that Julie was really involved with. But, so I'm okay if we go to even the 1st of May. I think we'd be guaranteed
I don't think it's a big deal.
better weather.
Yeah.
So as the calendar unfolds for the rest of the city for the egg hunt and everything, just keep us apprised of what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think late April, early May is better than early March.
Oh,
You
agreed.
know what I mean, you could.
Yeah,
fall
Kinda chilly.
You know what I mean?
cold, yeah.
So I think flexing
Perfect.
around a little bit is no big deal.
Good.
We could get some fun marketing ideas if we did like that day in May or, something like that. So thank you again for developing the logo for the event
Yeah.
as well. I think that was a
It was
really
nice.
big hit.
Yeah.
The signage that went up.
And our t-shirts were cute.
Yep. They were good.
Everything just, I
It was
think
perfect.
Great.
worked perfect. Thanks again.
Can't wait to see what we do next year.
Great team effort, guys. Thank you all so much.
It was fun.
All right. So let's move on to the update on the barn fire safety event. I'm guessing we have a public comment on that.
We do have a public comment. Lori DiPucci.
All right.
Hi,
How are
Lori.
you?
I'm short. I'm Lori. Just following up with your Meet the Neighbors and listening to you. I know you guys do a big fall crab fest, or not crab. Yeah, the crab apple fest.
Crab apple fest.
You could turn Meet the Neighbors into Farm Fest and do a day long. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening and I got thinking, wow, that it could go places. Anyway.
That's an interesting idea.
And then it's,
What's that?
it's promoting farms
Yeah,
and,
farmer's market.
and all day. And anyway, I just got
Okay.
that
Thanks for the
idea.
input.
No, I think that's a great
Then
input.
you got a spring and a fall event for Milton and with equal weight, I would hope.
Thanks, Lori.
Anyway, I was going to give you an update on barn fire, and then I've got some questions too. And I figured this is the best venue to chat about it. Advertising. We've got the postcards that went out. We've got the social media. Emily's got some postcards that she can put up at the city of Milton. Do you want me to put those sandwich boards anywhere that were in the?
I've got them and I can give those to you or whoever wants to put them up somewhere.
I could put one in front of my store.
Okay.
Because that's
That's a
going
fun
to
idea.
appeal to
Yeah.
horse owners.
I mean,
and-
I could
Yep.
nail one up at the Birmingham Park, but I don't know.
There's not a great place to put it, unfortunately, in Birmingham Park.
Okay, all right. Anyway, if anybody thinks of what we can do with those,
There's one.
might as well
they're
pop
at
them
Cherokee
somewhere.
Feed and Seed. The postcards are. I saw them yesterday. The postcards are at Cherokee Feed and Seed.
Yeah, but.
I have some up there.
Yesterday.
Place for the
Mhm.
big sandwich sign. 'Cause
Yeah.
then those-
Yeah.
Everyone who's going there.
So let's put the sandwich board at North Fulton Feed and at the Snooty Fox.
Okay.
And that will, I'll get with Tony.
Yep.
You
I
have
got them.
them?
Yeah, they're out there.
Okay, I should have just kept it.
I don't know. That's no big deal. They were attached to the,
We need one up at the
whatever
baby
that sandwich board
Publix.
thing.
Yeah. that's
I
a
mean,
good
might
one.
as well use them.
How many do we have?
I just got two for the
We need
sandwich
one to put in
board.
front of the baby Publix.
Agree.
Constant in and out
Yeah.
of.
Will they let us put one at Baby
I
Public?
don't know if they will.
Can you
The
ask?
city of Milton property, we can put it anywhere, for the most part. Anywhere-ish.
Where would that be in that little shopping center?
We don't own that.
Someplace.
The
where
public
farm
shopping
people
center?
will-
Go ask the store manager.
Yeah, I'll ask.
Just ask.
Yeah.
I'm in there.
I think that's a fine idea.
I mean, it's constant. I mean, it's horse people.
And I think the cards, we should put it all at the feed stores. You know, North Fulton, Cherokee, Gantz. You know,
Oh, Gantz.
yeah,
I forgot about Gantz. Yeah, Royal let me put some over there.
absolutely. I'm sure you will.
Okay.
If
so
they let you
guys
put up the
do
sandwich boards,
this-
I have holders.
I'm sorry.
I have holders for the sandwich board, so it's not just a random chloroplast poster. I think I have 2 extra holders, I think.
And when are we doing this?
Yeah, Lori, remind everybody about all the details.
Okay, so you guys want to do the sandwich boards?
Yeah, these guys will
Let me
take care
talk
of
to
it.
Publix.
Okay, because you have them.
I've got them. We'll find
Okay.
out, Nate. Yeah.
All right. So social media, I'm going to post 2 more times, but I'm already seeing it out there. And I'm not getting a lot of RSVPs, but
Emily, we putting it on is the city pushing it?
You bet.
On Facebook?
Greg was waiting until Meet the Neighbors was over.
Okay.
And now that it is over, I know it's on his radar. We talked about it this morning.
Perfect.
Do you have a postcard on you?
yeah,
I
got a
can
whole
take it to
stack.
Publix just to kind of
Okay.
sell it. Okay.
Perfect. Anyway, I'm sure we'll have a good crowd. It's just I've got 4 people that RSVP'd. So anyway,
Okay.
no big
That's
deal.
awesome.
Yep.
But I'm also planning on making personal calls to the people that I know that own farms in Milton. So I was going to ask everybody on the board to do the same. If you have friends and neighbors, call
I got
them.
confirmation from Dr. Maloney.
I saw that
they're
was on
coming. Yeah, they're gonna
Facebook
come
already.
Be on hand for any of the
Yep, I saw that.
psychological type physiology stuff.
Yeah, so she's
Yeah.
coming.
So to tell everybody, it's May 2nd,
May 2nd
right? From
6 to 8.
from
6 to 8.
6 to 8. And at Tony's farm. So the logistics, I've got chairs and tables on hold. I was gonna rent 70 chairs and 4 tables. I can go pick them up, but the logistics, I can pick them up in my horse trailer. Do we have, so I need to coordinate with Tony, like I can come Wednesday evening or Thursday morning.
Yeah. Whatever.
And then do we have people that can help set up the chairs? Or
Yeah, we can figure something out.
Okay.
Yeah. we'll
Is
figure
there
it
a time, like, should we say be there at a certain time Wednesday and
out.
then
To set up?
to set up?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Yeah,
Okay,
we'll figure that out.
all right, that was
I'll-
one of
Doing it
my
in the covered room?
questions.
Okay.
I'll recruit somebody and we'll just help you set up chairs. That's
Okay, it shouldn't be hard, it's
Okay.
because,
That's
so, so either Wednesday evening or early
Yeah.
Thursday
The
morning.
event is on a Thursday.
yes.
I'm also renting a PA system because you said Dr. Maloney's coming.
Yep.
And we're gonna do door prizes, so we, just to have it plugged in. So I was gonna make sure your electrical outlets were.
Yeah, come
right.
test all that out.
Okay, perfect. Door prizes. I've got door prizes so far from Cherokee Feed and Seed and Atlanta Saddlery. And I think Snooty Fox is gonna,
You gotta tell me what you want.
I just walked in and they put
Voltaire
stuff
saddle?
together for me, so.
$7,000 saddle, that's a nice door prize, why not?
So what I was gonna do, I was gonna have the 3 tables, I was gonna have food in the middle, and then basically vendor tables with the door prizes and advertising for, just put their logos up
Yeah.
there, so, okay. And if
Yeah.
anybody, so far, I've got Cherokee Feed and Seed and Atlanta Saddlery and probably.
Yeah, let's talk about what we want to do. Do we want to do like, tack hooks in a bucket, or do you want to do
I'll
clothing, or what is it?
I'll tell you what Cherokee Feeds, because Atlanta Saddlery was more gifty and Cherokee Feed and Seed was like fly spray buckets. Yeah, so then we'll
So let's-
find something
Let's
else.
chit chat.
We'll see if the union will kick in a dinner gift card or something.
The Union Restaurant.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine they'll throw something in.
And they might let us put our postcards out there.
That's a
Okay.
great idea. Put one of the
Um,
signs over there.
What about Scottsdale?
Scottsdale.
Fine idea.
Just for the postcards. I don't know
Yeah.
about donation, but I
That's
could
a great
run some
idea.
postcards up there and see if they'll put them out.
You want to do that?
I mean, I
Okay.
live right there. Yep.
You got, I mean, I've seen
Easy,
several
easy.
stacks of these postcards, right? We've got a bunch of those,
I
right?
have tons.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I've
I mean,
got tons
yeah,
of
let's just get rid of them, send them out there.
them. Okay.
We're talking, what, 3 weeks from now?
Well, and then there's so Lori's postcard is the larger one.
Right.
And then the Community Connect postcard that has the QR code on it too, to sign up for community.
Let's put those on the table, on the vendor
Okay.
tables. And I've got, my electrician said he'll put some flyers out. I've got insurance people that can put in flyers out. So if you know of anyone else that you think might benefit and want to have their card or a flyer on one of the vendor tables, I'm going to set it up so that, we can have that. So
Great.
I'm going to have food, drinks, trash bags, and then tablecloths. If I'm missing anything.
The only thing I could think of is if people are going to be getting a lot of information, does any of your sponsors or vendors have like a bag or a folder or like something that they could put all their stuff in?
Great idea.
Mhm.
That's a great idea.
Good idea.
Okay.
I don't know. Always ask the vendors first. Sometimes they have extra stuff lying around.
I might be able to.
I mean, even shopping bags, like they
Well,
have,
Harry Norman Realtors has wine bags.
not?
So, but I don't know. That's a great idea. Okay. We'll have to check on that. I might be able to get some printed too. And then Tony, do you want to meet at any time prior to the event to go over? I mean, maybe when we're setting up the chairs, do you want the fire marshal to come visit with us, or?
Yeah, are you in communication with him?
I have been, yeah.
If you want to just sync up with, if you want to get with him and set up a time to come out and, and check things or, walk the arena or do whatever. And are you working on this with her? Okay. If y'all want to just figure out a time that y'all all want to meet over there, just
Okay.
tell me when you're going to meet. And I mean, unless I'm just not there around.
Kind of
I'll meet
thinking
you. That's fine.
Wednesday night, the night before.
Yeah.
At early evening,
I think
and then
that's
that
great.
way Thursday I can work and go get the food and everything else.
I think
So,
that's great. Whenever y'all want to meet, just let me know and I'll.
okay,
stop
and
there.
Teresa, you'll be part, okay, good. So we might, just between us, we might be able to set those chairs up.
Yeah. And I'll be around. We'll help you. No problem
Okay.
at all. We'll help
And
you
then
get it set
after
up.
the event, and I've got to bring my horse trailer. I've just got a little bumper pool, so
No
that's
problem.
okay. We can get in and out of
We
there,
can get
right?
in and out. That's no
Okay.
worries at all.
There we go.
You know how to get in the gate, just show up whenever
Okay.
you want.
Perfect. Well, that's all on my notes.
Do you call it something different?
What?
Do you call your farm Pleasant Hill?
No,
What do you call your farm?
the farm.
The farm. Okay, I'll just put Tony's farm.
Yeah.
Is there any concern with parking if it's raining? I haven't been to your farm, so I'm not sure. Is there any
We talked about
concern?
that. If it is really wet,
Okay.
then we'll probably just park along the driveway or around the barn and just kind of make it happen.
Okay.
If it's dry and it's not muddy, then
Mhm.
I'm just gonna open up a pasture and just park all the cars in the pasture.
Okay.
So.
Is someone gonna, I mean, I'm not totally sure how many people we're planning on yet, but
Where's that? Pittsburgh? That's the wrong place.
do you need anybody to be directing traffic at all? Directing parking?
I don't
Or are people
care.
going to be
I-
smart?
You know, if they run into a tree, that's not my problem, you know.
Well-
I'll just kind of have a sign that
Trust
just
no
says
one.
park here, you know. and
Oh, if you've got a sign, okay.
I don't, but we can
Oh.
make one.
Because Dr. Nash's, he was out there pointing the cars to where to, you know.
I think once you park 3 or 4 vehicles in a pasture,
Yeah.
people pretty
People
quickly
get
are gonna
it.
figure
They
out.
figure
where
it
to
out.
park.
You guys park
Okay.
your vehicles correctly, then people will
Yeah.
hopefully start following
We'll
suit.
just kind of start lining them up and I think it'll be
Okay.
all right.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
All details. We'll figure that out.
All right, I will, I'll get working on the rest of this then, and I'll get the chairs and the tables secured.
Thank you. by the
Thanks,
way.
you, guys.
Lori.
This is
Awesome,
gonna be really
awesome.
good. I think it's gonna be a really good event. It's a big topic that I think we've all been very interested in and concerned about for a long time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, every time there's a tragedy, this topic comes full circle.
Mhm.
And last time, I guess was sometime last year, you know, there was that big barn fire. And that really sparked our committee to want to get involved more in this. And Milton Fire has been more than interested in trying to develop this program. Alex Fortner, the fire marshal who works with Kennedy, he was really interested in trying to develop that whole barn fire inspection or the barn inspection program.
Mhm.
And I think they've had a lot of really good success with that.
Mm.
So I think this dovetails very nicely with that.
Especially going into the summer season where people plug those fans in, so.
Yeah, it was.
I don't
Rising
know.
Fawn. Rising
Was that
Fawn.
Blake? Whose barn was that?
That was in
Rising
Forsyth County.
Fawn. It was the
Yeah.
old Rising Fawn place.
At the, like up at the top?
But it'd be interesting for them to be there and hear.
Well, yeah, so that was,
I don't know.
that was what prompted that barn fire seminar in Cherokee County. And I thought it was Milton that partnered with Cherokee, but it was Forsyth
Yeah.
that partnered with them. So they were there and they talked about it a little bit.
But you're saying the
they don't
owners of the
still-
farm,
I mean,
to see if they'd want to be there?
Yeah, just see.
I don't, do anybody know those folks?
I don't know that.
That may not be as
Want
simple as it sounds.
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
know.
You know, because I think the cause of that fire is still somewhat unknown.
They don't
And
know.
Yeah, they
I
may
think
not
it's
want to know that.
just, it's really a travesty. I just can't imagine them wanting to talk.
Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe one of the trainers, because Blake Carney was there, and then,
That was a separate fire, wasn't it?
no. But what was the?
I thought Blake Carney's fire was
Blueberry?
one, and then this one that happened last year was a totally separate one.
Well, the one that happened last year was in Forsyth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He has had two. He was at both places. Never
Oh,
mind. You're right
goodness.
about
And you
that.
know that, those are
Hmm?
the
Goodness.
big fires that you hear about. Sometimes you don't hear about the little ones where
Yeah.
a fan caught on fire and one or two horses. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. It happens. So,
Well, I think the biggest push for me personally in regards to fire safety, I mean, I just freak out every time I go to Wills Park and I see all these box fans.
Exactly.
And I'm just like,
I have a feeling
"Ugh,
that's about to change.
God,
I
I
hope
hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
anything
I
with
think
an
that's,
open
I think
motor
that's,
like
I
that.
think that's actually really about to change. I've heard a few comments from people that that's not going to be allowed.
Well, and it'll be a non-issue when
Yeah.
the new barns are built for the stalls, they'll probably be like they are at WEC where they'll have
Put the fans in,
permanent fans.
real fans.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Thank you,
Lori,
Lori.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Great
guys.
update. We got lots to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
Yeah, great.
All right. All right, that was great. All right. We have a disaster safety plan on our agenda.
Yes, one of the things that came up at Meet the Neighbors, someone had asked me
Thank you.
about, we were talking about T-layer and disaster preparedness. And while the T-layer situation is wonderful and it's great for the random issues that happen, we're stuck in the creek bed, those kind of things, I think one of the things that we need to focus on, and I don't think this is anything that we can do quickly, but I'd like for us to think about a disaster preparedness plan for tornadoes. Because one of the things that was posed to me was, yeah, but what if we have a tornado? Those first responders are going to be dealing with humans.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if that's a way that we could get more community involvement in designing a disaster preparedness plan. I mean, she asked me, she's like, well, so what do you do if there's a tornado? And I was like, I don't know, and it just got me thinking, and my farm is,
Cross your fingers.
I'm kind
That's
of at the
exactly right.
bottom of a hill, and I'm,
Mhm.
fairly protected where a tornado would probably just skip over me. But, what if there's multiple situations where horses, a flood or wildfires we're probably
No, I get
pretty
it.
safe from, but we are susceptible to tornadoes. And so I was talking about that with a private vendor who does have all the same equipment as the T-layer stuff. And he's very involved in going to other municipalities and assisting with issues like that. So there was a cow that had gotten, I don't know if you guys remember, I want to say it was last summer, and there was a bull that had gotten down in a well. And all the people that had T-layer equipment, Woodstock, Milton, everyone who had T-layer equipment got called, and everybody swarmed down there. And there was a lot of newscasts. There was a lot of, media there and media attention. And I don't know. I just think that we kind of need to utilize people that I'm talking about Mike Gelb. If you guys know Mike Gelb at all, he made Wilson. Well, he owns Wilson Products. And so he designed our banner that we had at the base of the horse and everything. He owns all that equipment, the same equipment that Milton Equestrian or City of Milton T-layer stuff. So I just kind of think that we need to be utilizing that kind of service as well and just know about it. And then I'd like to kind of with the fire safety seminar, maybe in the fall or whenever tornadoes are.
I have a suggestion. John with Fire Corps, John Ing, he has gone through this program. A lot of the Fire Corps members have gone through this CERT program, which is all emergency response related. I wonder how this concept, being equestrian or ag specific, would tie into the CERT program. Because that's all that program is about, is disaster response and training people on
What does
how
CERT stand
to
for?
Certified, something like that. training.
emergency response training.
Yeah, I
or something
think
like
so,
that. Citizen emergency response training
Yes,
or
maybe.
certified or something to that effect. But it's all about what to do in an emergency or in a disaster when first responders are tied up, saving lives.
Yep,
And you need to call citizens in that have been trained
yep,
on how to support. If all the power lines are down after a big tornado and all the first responders are out trying to save somebody, there's a call up to CERT, to kind of come together.
that's exactly what
So
I'm
anyway,
talking about.
Man, it'll be interesting if you just ask the question. Like, I hope that they have some, that, I don't know, tactics for that or whatever, but it's really interesting considering where we live. Like, we do need to have a
Well,
plan
and
for
that's,
that.
I'm
Yeah, I think it's
just
interesting.
dipping my toe in the water.
John
here.
would be a really, really good advocate or a real good source of information for that because he's big into that.
Okay,
Have you asked Mike about that? Does he know anything about that?
yeah, I did talk to Mike about it when I returned the horse on Monday. We were kind of talking about it, and I said, "Hey, I got this question at Meet the Neighbors, and I know you have like a sling and a sled.
Mike's
and-
got everything.
and all the stuff." And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I was just over in Alabama helping with a tornado that ripped through Huntsville, I think."
Mhm.
So it just got me thinking. And I think, again, I'm not so sure that our general public knows that kind of thing is available. And I think we could really kind of tie that in with
Yeah.
community relations and,
It's great.
yeah. So I'm gonna need help with that. I don't even know
And
where
then,
to go with
if you
it.
could develop a program that's tied to a cert type thing,
Mhm.
then you could develop something, kind of like the city has the Citizens Government Academy or the
Mhm.
Citizen Police Academy, and you have all these
Mhm.
different programs. You could have the Citizens whatever
Mhm.
program where people that are in the equestrian world or own farms could take some sort of a program and be trained on how to respond to a disaster.
I think it would be really awesome if
That'd
we
be a
could
pretty
do.
neat community relations effort. I think you could really do something with that.
Would you help me spearhead that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't even know where to start.
I made a note.
Okay.
We'll talk about that and then you can circle
And I
back to
think
that.
with your fire core stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
were working on too, I think that really ties in and you know all the,
All these are all spokes of the wheel. When
Yeah.
you get into, to your point, when you get into the whole barn fire thing and you get into response to a disaster and educating the community and pulling people together, community relations wise, I think those are all spokes of the wheel that would probably.
well, and I thought about the flood that we had in 2009. I don't know if you guys all lived here.
Yeah.
I mean, I had people calling me going, "Oh, we'll help get you out." Well, I was like, "Well, I'm okay for now." And luckily I have 2 trailers. I can move all of my horses. That's not an issue. But, everybody was moving all the horses like from Hunter's Glen. They were all going to Wills Park. All the horses from, what's that place right on the river? Not River Glen. Well, anyway, so I just think that, we as horse people, we are connected and we know each other. Like
Sure.
if there was an issue, I'd be like, "Hey, Tony, can I help you?" But
Yeah, I get it.
what about the people that just moved here or the people that just are starting to keep horses? So,
No, I think it's a great idea. I really do.
well, thanks for putting that on the agenda because I
Yep.
just didn't even know where to go with it. I just think I'm thinking about a disaster preparedness plan for me personally, so I would encourage you guys
Well, the
to
good
do
news
that
is
as
it's on
well.
your goal list for the year that we're going to talk about in a minute. So you got that to track towards this year.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. All right.
No, that's good. Anybody else have any questions about that or anything before we go to the next item? Sorry, after.
I'll text.
Yes,
Okay.
after though. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry. All right, with that in mind, let's move on to the next item on our agenda, which is farm ownership. Shannon, do you have any updates for anything?
I guess since the last time we had our committee meeting, Tony and Carson and myself met with city staff to kind of, I don't know if the right word is pitch, but to offer, then our idea of becoming a liaison between us and city staff as far as the permitting and maybe eliminate some of the confusion before they even get there, kind of screen people and help out so that then when they do go to get their permitting,
Wow.
maybe there's less confusion, less questions, so it's more streamlined. They were very receptive.
They were.
Wow.
They were very receptive.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to get into the ag exemption and then it kind of steered
I
towards
heard about that.
the, more of the farm.
Well, that's where the
ownership.
meeting kind of stemmed from,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
because they've done, there's been a lot of efforts within, I guess you consider that community development, right? That's Bob's organization.
Correct.
To try to come up with, large lot incentives, and then this whole ag exemption concept came into play of, if you're in a genuine ag property, do all the exact same rules apply to an ag property as it would to a house in White Columns? Is there some flexibility or just some different ways to approach things? And which I thought was really good, but they seem, to your point, to have really embraced the idea of us having a more upfront role. I even proposed the idea of us being more like a DRB or a BZA where applicants would actually come before us. And again, this is, very high, broad stroke
Right.
concepts, but they seem to be willing to discuss expanding our role, which could be good.
Wow.
It would help them.
It is.
Really,
Mhm.
as like weed out some things. I
Yeah.
don't mean to say like that.
And we can really support people that are going through the application process and try to advise them and give them some guidance or some general ideas to follow.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. Very receptive, so.
That's great.
Yeah, they were very receptive. And we've got to follow up this Friday at 11 to sit down with
It's exciting.
the director of ComDev and talk about that.
Kind of going back to Meet the Horses, I think you were standing there, but I think you were talking to somebody else. There was a woman that came up to me and she said, I'm about to build a barn. I've never had a horse before, and thinking about getting a horse and a goat. What do you think about a goat? Were you there for that conversation? Yeah. And she's like,
Goat.
or a mini
So, no
or
goats.
a donkey. And then she was saying, do you rotate your pastures and how many horses do you have on a pasture? And it just completely, I think, just validated what we want to do for everybody. And, I was kind of going through pasture maintenance with her and what I thought about, a companion animal, and they don't know this stuff.
Right.
And it, I didn't know a lot of it. When you boarded your horses, it's a completely different, scene to have your own barn. So I thought that was interesting. And it was like, did we come up with something? Kind of pamphlet, or I don't know how we would do it and how we would get it out there.
I think that's just a perfect example of how those scenarios fit into this.
To what we're talking about staff. Yeah. She was genuinely just like starting fresh, and
Is there a blog on the website? I think we talked about this before, but even something like that. Or this is how I got my permitting for
Yeah.
the outsheds or whatever you call them. Any of that information, because everybody
Like
goes
a
to the
pamphlet,
internet
even with,
first
like,
for everything now, right?
even with like Q&As, like if we had a pamphlet with Q&As that said, how many acres per horse, and then we
Right.
can put on there what our thoughts are. It depends on how much grass is
I think it's really
grazeable.
smart.
But it would have so much more weight if it were on the city's website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a link that just says, want to build a barn or something, and
Common question.
something kind of fun, and
But
then
with information from you.
You're right. I think that would be that'd be
It
really
was really,
useful.
it was perfect timing to get those questions. And then of course we got the questions about where can I take lessons?
Oh, I know. And
Like-
I
Sure,
already
yeah.
offered I guess I offered too much opinion, and I still need more guidance on that because, like I said, as a person who is, we've been through like 6 or 7 barns around
Yeah.
here. I just gave my opinion, like, hey, no, well, they're over there because there was obviously a vendor who was offering lessons. They're there, they're great. We've ridden with them, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And my daughter rides here, and we've tried this, and we don't. But
I can help you
allowed
with
to
that.
say but at the end of the day,
I still don't
Well,
understand why
some guidance
nobody
here,
has
'cause
spelled
that's
out
what
that.
people want.
I don't understand
Well,
that.
No,
And
real
here's the
good.
thing, there's a lot of things that go into that. You don't know their expectation, you don't know their skill set, you
Right,
don't
so
know
that's why you can say what
anything about that.
your
So,
is.
so what I do is I refer them to the GHJA website, Georgia Hunter Jumper Association, or the Georgia Dressage and Combined Training Association website. And I tell them to go to the trainer directory. And
What if they don't want to do that? What if they want to do Western Pleasure?
well, let's talk about that in a minute. But okay, then they can go. There isn't a lot of that here, so
Come on, man.
so what I tell them to do is look at the trainer directory and map out what's close to home. We all know drive time is a big deal here. You want something close to home, and especially if you have 2 other kids, you got to shuffle to baseball or hockey or whatever else. So I tell people to just go to that place and just show up on a Tuesday or a Wednesday at 4:00 when there's definitely not going to be a horse show that they're gone for. And they can just make their own opinion. And a lot of people just go, well, I don't know. And I go, you know more than you think you do. Come on, when you walk into the barn, do the horses look at you and go, hey, you got a carrot?
But I do think there's a need for that because you're right. Everybody has that question at Crabapple Fest. If we heard that question
God,
once, we heard it
every
50
person.
times.
So, and that was my goal, but again, I feel like I know we talked, and you said,
I'm
well, if they're not
gonna tell you
licensed,
how
we can't
that's-
put them on the list, but.
I'm going to tell you how that's going to
Right.
jump back and bite you, though. If you are referring places, because if it doesn't work out for them, they're going to blame you or the city, or it's going to be a competition with the other barns. Well, why didn't you tell them my name? And Horse people are quirky.
No.
I mean, I have to be very, very careful. I can't go, say ABC barn and have XYZ barn come up to me and say, well, you didn't give them my name, So it's really hard because that combined with the fact that there's not a lot of academy programs anymore. We used to have, Carson can tell you the numbers because we've been working on how many barns are not here anymore, but there used to be at least 15 places that had school horses that you could sign up for
Yeah.
Tuesday at 4:00
Yep.
lessons. And we just don't have that anymore. There's only a couple places that actually have school horses for that.
See, that would be a really interesting business.
Well, don't get me
Yeah.
started because I mean, and I know this is a big deal. I really think that the city of Milton could do that. We own a facility that could be made into that. And we could have a city employee who is a professional riding instructor and the city could own horses and we could make a lot of money doing that and promote our brand. But that's down the road,
That's a
Good idea.
I mean, that is what I have been wanting to do with that city property that was slated to be the park anyway. We can provide layovers for people that are coming from Michigan to go to WEC or coming up from Wellington, going back to Pennsylvania. I-75 is right here. There's a big opportunity there, but I don't know who to even start that conversation with. I just, yeah.
Yeah. That conversation happens a fair amount.
I know, we've had that, but I've been talking about it for a year or more.
I
So,
agree.
I,
Well, and that really, I'm not ready to move on from this topic yet, but that's why it's important for us to have goals.
Mhm.
You got to put all that stuff down. You got to document it. You got to capture all that because sometimes great ideas just fly right over. And then 6 months later we go, hey, remember last time we were,
yeah,
but if you
you're
put
right.
it on a document and you track your progress against that, you won't forget about it. Anyway, what else we got on that?
Oh, that was
Oh.
me, I think.
Oh, that was far, we really went off on a tangent there. That was Shannon's. I'm
Well, that's
sorry.
okay.
I didn't mean.
Shannon, is there anything else on that? We can certainly give the committee an update next month after our meeting.
Well, I
Friday.
attended, I don't know if you were there, Jenny Doyle's
Oh, I didn't.
breather. So Jenny Doyle every year does like, what is it called? It's like a real estate update for Milton.
Yeah.
And so I went and Peyton was sharing with the realtors, like what's going on in Milton, what's new over in Crabapple. And he brought up the Milton Equestrian Committee and some things that we were doing to promote farm ownership. And he talked about our map that we had. Well, it was great, but then everybody started asking, well, how did they get this information? Well, how many acres do they consider a farm? And he looked at me and he goes, I have somebody, and I almost died. I don't like saying, I have somebody from Milton Equestrian Committee here, and I am not going to put
Were you
her
looking
on the
around to see
spot.
who was
Oh,
there?
I was, because I was like, no,
thanks
this
for
is
nothing.
not my event, and I'm not prepared to answer impromptu questions. But they wanted to know how many acres are we considering a farm? And wonder if it's just goats on the farm and not horses. Is that a farm? Wonder if it's pigs. Because he was saying that an aerial view
Yeah.
was done and that, that the committee could tell that there were horses here. And one of the realtors said, well, wonder if it's pigs in our county. Like, it's good questions. And so it's something that Carson and I need to probably talk about because that-
Great.
I don't know anyone that keeps pigs in Milton, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
so it kind of went down this
Hey,
path and
right.
they were very curious about it, several.
I've gotten a lot of calls on that survey.
Mhm.
And I've gotten some calls from people around Milton that go, where'd y'all come up with this? Like, is this really true? Or, what about this? And, there's always going to be people that are trying to slice and dice your projects. And so that's okay. That's all right. I think that was a huge
Absolutely.
undertaking and it was really good. And it will get tweaked and modified. And, I think, you guys, if people say, what about goats on a farm? I don't think that those were included in that survey,
they
because
weren't.
these were only horses. And I know Carson brought that up several times as, how do we broaden this filter? Do we broaden this filter? What about horse farms that just today don't have any
Don't
horses
have any
on them?
horses, but
And there's a
it's
bunch of those
land.
out there.
Right.
There's a bunch of empty barns out there, right? That had horses that don't today. Maybe they will tomorrow.
But it's still a farm.
No, it was based on
Horses.
actual having horses on the property. Mhm.
But what some
A
people were
horse,
at.
right? It has to be
Yeah.
one horse.
At least a horse.
one.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So the interest was there though. It's not like, he was talking about it.
Oh, it
everybody
stirred
just
up a
moved
lot
on.
of
It was
discussion.
like, everything
more than I thought it
stopped
would.
and there were like hands raised everywhere. And I was like,
Well, I just
I'm
think,
here as a realtor right now.
yeah.
Well,
Very
and I
marketing
think,
tool, too.
I think that's a really tough question because we are here as equestrians. And I don't claim to be a goat expert.
I don't want to be good at
You know,
You are a goat expert.
Well, and I don't
Whether you
know
wanna be one or
anything
not.
about that, but yes,
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about a farm, I mean, my farm isn't a farm, it's a farmette, it's a gentleman's farm, it isn't, I don't have 30 acres,
just-
But it's still, you're
Still
still
farm.
using it as a farm.
Right.
Right? It's still.
Right.
I mean, farmette, that's just a,
Yeah.
whatever, that's just a qualifier. That's still a farm.
But I would say that our area, we have chickens, we have goats, we have
Correct.
donkeys, but we
So are we
wanted to start
counting
with
them?
those
Right.
before we got horses. I felt like the horses were more
So are we
complex.
so we
Right,
need to
right.
figure out, are we gonna count that?
I mean, there's probably somebody in the city of Milton that's got 1 acre that's got a horse on it.
Oh,
Somebody.
absolutely. Oh, no,
Oh,
the kids
absolutely.
joke about that. They call it the front lawn horse. We drive past it every day on the way to school. That's a front lawn horse. I mean, he's literally in front of this tiny little ranch house and lives off of the front lawn. And joke
So,
about
yeah,
it.
I mean, anybody that's got them is, consider, I mean, I could easily make a broad stroke and say, well, 3 acres and above, but that's not necessarily the case.
No, I agree.
But if you had your pamphlet together and you said how many acres you needed to rotate them, then we would know what you would
See?
consider an actual farm. from
Exactly.
one horse.
Yeah.
It all goes back. They're all tied together.
And this will continue to evolve. I think, it's interesting. But that's all right. I'm
Good
glad.
job,
man.
Shannon.
It's nice because there are a lot of things.
I'm sure
to
you did a
remember.
great job with it. I'm sure you did a great job with it, so. A lot of good stuff going on with what
Well,
y'all are
don't feel
working
bad
on.
you didn't have a PowerPoint ready to drop in and load,
It's just like, oh, please.
Yeah, anyway, so. All right, well, if that is, with that case, let's move on to our next agenda item. I don't believe we have any new business, so we'll move into unfinished business. And we'll talk very briefly about our 2024 goals. I think I've mentioned this before. This is really a, December-ish discussion. And that way we start the year with a fresh set of goals. But what I did do, and I had Emily help put this together. Thank you for this. This looks 10 times better than what I did. It would have taken me 2 days to come up
She
with this for me.
amazing.
Yeah. Once you got the skill, it's, but this basically, these are the 2024 goals that you all included on our presentation to City Council. And then Shannon and Carson developed a list of goals that they had for farm ownership for this year. So I don't want to go through all of these. I really just want to emphasize once again the importance of putting all this on paper. It gives us something to track progress against. It gives all of our subcommittee leads the opportunity to kind of periodically look at this and not forget about things that you came up with. And then we will periodically review this and say what kind of progress we're making. At the end of the year, we'll talk about goals that were met, goals that were not met, goals that need to transition over to the next year, etc.
Right.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Comments, questions?
I think it's a great idea.
You like the idea? You think it's a
Yeah.
bunch of whatever recorded, so I won't say that. But I mean, do you guys think this is a good exercise?
I think it's great. I mean,
I think
Carson
it
and I
helps-
sat down and we
Yeah.
really put some time.
I
into
think it
this.
helps
Yeah,
keep our
it's-
focus without going off on tangents. I mean, I can look at this and tell you where I am on every single one of these things right now.
I mean, anybody who
I
runs a
like that.
business, you all, I'm sure, have your goals for your businesses, and you know what you want to accomplish for the year, and hopefully you're tracking those things and realize what worked and what didn't. And that's my goal for this committee. It's always been since I became the chair, is I just want to be more relevant of a committee for the city. And I think we are making tremendous progress on that. And I couldn't be happier with the group that's sitting here in this committee.
Yay.
So I would just encourage you all to take a look at these, discuss them with your subcommittee members, come back with any questions. If you need to change them, this is what I call a living document. You can modify at any time and clarify anytime, et cetera.
There's a little bit of crossover with Carson and with our goals, and then it kind of ties into what Nan is doing, because we have that our farm population count would be beneficial to share with the fire department in case of emergencies.
Yes.
So that's probably something that we need to keep.
Wait, two subcommittees can have similar
What?
goals.
The-
Right, so
That is-
here.
Well, like this develop a list of Milton-based riding facilities, that you can have that one. That isn't,
Right here.
continue working with Milton Fire Department.
So
Yeah,
you know,
And again, these aren't exclusive goals.
right.
You don't have to say, oh, take it off my list and put it on you. That does not have to be the case. There's a lot of crossover.
There's a lot of crossover.
And I've tried to make it clear, but just because your name sits on a subcommittee does not mean that's all you can spend your time on.
right.
I mean, you really shouldn't. I mean,
Right.
we're all gonna come to the cleanup day and get involved in all that kind of stuff. We're all doing meet the neighbors.
You
I
all
mean,
help with me. Yeah.
it's one committee. This just kind of keeps us organized and focused and gives ownership and that type of
So
thing.
it'd be cool to have on here too, a QR code that people can
There
scan and see
is.
the farms and see the
Oh,
map that we have.
QR code for maps. I was gonna say, we have a QR
Yeah.
code for,
Which that's later on
For
down,
Community
but I was
Connect.
thinking about that.
Right. So,
that's intense.
anyway, that's it. I just want to make sure we got this on paper. Thank you again for doing this. This is something that everybody can reflect on and ask.
Want to set maybe like a July or August mid-year goal review
Mhm.
on the agenda, and we just kind of,
Totally agree. Why don't we plan on that for our July meeting? Yep, let's do that. And then we can kind of review this list and see where we are and if we need to make any edits for the second half of the year.
Good.
Does that work?
So Lori, when would you want the sandwich board outside?
Lori's gone.
Oh, she's gone. When do you think that she would want this sandwich board outside of
ASAP.
Publix?
Fast.
Now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure she does.
Do you have the sandwich boards?
I
I'll
got 'em.
text you.
Yeah, I can get them to you guys when we walk out here in a minute.
and if they give you a yes, I do have a additional sandwich board holder,
A what?
a holder. So the
Oh, a
sandwich board
holder.
is
I'm
just,
sorry.
it's just the chloroplast
Right,
board. But I
right.
need to shove it in the holder. So if you need one, let me
I'll
know.
let y'all know. I'll go up there tomorrow and see what they say. And I'll go to Scottsdale.
Oh, I know,
That's
Jan
great.
Turcos would do that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I know they would. They're worse
I'll
people.
just drop it off.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kathleen came on Saturday.
she did, yes.
So with that being said, do we have any other items that we need to discuss that we have not? If not, I would love a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn today's meeting.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye, 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 aye,
That was Nan and Shannon.
aye.
They're the ones that wanted to end the meeting.
You were the one, you begged. You said, God, please, can